Managing Feeling Overwhelmed, presented by the University of North Georgia's Student Counseling Center. What does it mean to be overwhelmed? This is when we feel stressed and perceive that we are no longer capable of handling the size or amount of issues that we are currently facing. We each have a certain amount of emotional, physical, cognitive and/or other resources available to face whatever comes our way. We use these to cope. Some examples of resources are time, support from loved ones, exercise, sleep, food, physical health, and coping skills. Life can be hard and stressful at times. We may struggle to balance our time and energy. Unfortunately, when we think that we cannot accomplish something with our current resources, our bodies can interpret this as a threat and elicit a stress response. Some symptoms we experience with this stress response are muscle tension, increased heart rate, and feeling our blood and adrenaline pumping. These are the needed resources to fight the challenge or to run away. You may have heard of this concept as fight or flight. If the threat appears to be especially daunting, sometimes our body will go into freeze mode. This looks like a deer caught in the headlights. It's shutting down. It's thinking, if I just lay here frozen, maybe the threat will go away. Ideally, fight, flight, or freeze will help us manage our stressors in the moment, giving the threat time to dissipate. Life will continue moving forward, and we feel better. Relaxation turns off our stress response, because these are opposites and cannot co-occur. Unfortunately though, most of our stressors are not predators or other short-term challenges. They linger, and we usually have a lot of them simultaneously. There are costs associated with the stress response. Our body prioritizes using our energy to keep us alive. So some functions are pushed aside, such as adjusting to our circumstances and engaging in higher-level thinking. However, our body responds to all perceived threats as if they are lethal. If the stressor is something that requires problem solving, being in the stress response will limit our abilities to resolve it. Thus, the stress response can perpetuate stressors, keeping our stress response activated. How people respond when overwhelmed will vary based on the situation, their resources, and what they've learned through life experiences. Some individuals may want to escape or run away from their stressors. This is flight mode. Others might feel frustrated, talking loudly, and banging on things. This is fight mode. Others may shut down. Instead of talking and being out with their friends, they're avoiding others, they're quiet or less active than usual. This is freeze mode. Managing feelings of being overwhelmed. It's important to recognize that telling yourself or others to calm down or to just breathe will not remove the perceived threat. It can be invalidating to suggest that it isn't a big deal and push yourself or others towards being fine. This doesn't mean that breathing isn't beneficial, and that you won't be fine. We have other videos on our channel that explain the many benefits of breathing exercises. Listen to yourself, or others, to understand the situation and the feelings being aroused, and don't minimize these feelings. Then we can pursue coping skills that may help in facing our challenges. Take a break from the stressor, and engage in self-care and coping skills. Doing so will help reduce stress, so that we can better face the situation when we come back to it. Come up with a list of quick things that can be done to help trigger the relaxation response. This will allow us to get back to what we need to do, now that we've calmed our system enough to have the resources to manage life's demands. Some have these skills in their coping skills toolbox, others write them down on a coping card. Remember though, that when we're overwhelmed, we can't think as well. So, you may want to write down this list to refer to in those difficult moments. Examples of coping skills could be calling a friend, reading, watching a funny video, going for a walk, taking a warm bath or shower, cuddling with a soft blanket, playing a game or sport, meditating, breathing, etc. It doesn't matter, as long as it's relatively healthy. Once we're able to calm ourselves, we can better plan how to face whatever our challenge is. These recommendations may not be surprising. We know that taking a quick break can be helpful, and we usually know some things we can do to help ourselves feel better. Sometimes we may need to develop more coping skills, more things to make managing stressors easier. Thank you. Please contact our office with any questions or if you'd like support.